All right, hello there, and welcome back to another Starfield recap. So this is probably the first recap where there's actual like a lot of let's say it's the most exciting recap. So for anyone that's not familiar, Bethesda recently teased, and I say teased in the most loosest terminology. They teased a 12-second trailer for an upcoming content drop. We don't know whether it is an expansion or a DLC or just a free update. But in the trailer, it showed Starfield, and then it showed it was like different segments of like, imagine like a square that says Starfield, and like it's divided into grids, and various grids would disappear, they would change color, and behind it there was words, and the words seemed to say Terran Armada, which again, I'm not that's not we're not entirely sure that's what it is, but that's what it kind of seems like. We couldn't see everything. We could see the TER, and then we could see pretty much, we could make out all of Armada, but we couldn't. So I'm assuming it's Terran Armada. Some people speculate it could be like Terror Armada or something. I don't know. I think the general consensus, though, is it is Terran Armada, which, yeah, this is pretty awesome. So, now, saying that, if we're being realistic here, we essentially got a teaser trailer confirming something coming. So yeah, the what would you say? How do you word that? The overarching, I don't know what the wording is, but basically we still haven't gotten anything majorly substantial in terms of when it's coming out or what specifically it is, aside from the name. Now, regardless of that, I know that the community is kind of in two camps. One camp is obviously very, very excited because we finally gotten something substantial, not like all right, we're going to be adding, this, we got like a name. And it's a confirmed name. Now, obviously, the other camp is like, well, it's kind of a bit of a slap in the face, Bethesda, when like it's been a year and like you've given us like three little tidbits of information, and this one being the teaser and like nothing else. Now, when this goes live, this will go live on the Tuesday. So there's speculation. We'll get into what Terran Armada might be in a minute, but the speculation is that because Bethesda released the teaser, that the content should be coming soon. At the very least, it should be coming soon, but it could also be kind of leading up to a bigger launch. So a few people have been speculating, specifically Nogroth in the Discord, speculated that it could be leading to a kind of like an advertisement campaign for like a kind of, to hype up the thing. So like we could get a more prominent trailer soon, TM, and then it could lead to like a launch. Now that's a very valid kind of consideration. This video will go live Tuesday. Hopefully, so Bethesda usually launch their stuff usually around 6 p.m. my time. So when this video is live, when it's been live, how many hours is that? 8 hours? We might potentially, I'm hoping that we'll get more information on it on Tuesday on the reset, which would be really awesome. Again, the fact that it's like a teaser, because we've on this channel, and I think across the Starfield community, a lot of us have been very kind of critical of Bethesda's their methodology when it comes to Starfield and like post-launch content. Like there hasn't been any, like it's been a year since Shattered Space. We've gotten it's actually coming up on a year this year. We've got nothing. There's been Gamescom, there was Xbox Showcase, there was nothing. All we got was a tweet that says we're working on stuff soon. That was in like May, right? That was May, yes. Then we got a little tidbit at the end of the patch note in I want to say August, that basically said in the coming months, right? So, or it wasn't August. Was it the end of June? No, it was the end of June. It was the end of June, actually. It was July. No, I think it was July. It was basically, it was like a couple of weeks before Gamescom, but the fact that they said months kind of made me assume, and I assumed correctly, but even though I didn't care at the time, or I didn't think about the time, that when they said months, it was going to, that time frame was going to go over Gamescom, so it wasn't at Gamescom. So yeah, so it wasn't at Gamescom. So yeah, so I'm really hopeful that we will get a content drop, hopefully this month or next month. There is the rumors about the PlayStation launch, supposedly, being kind of pushed till next year. Obviously, the PlayStation launch is going to be really cool. My only concern with this has always been I have no issue with it going to PlayStation. I mean, ultimately, it's not. I don't care. Well, not that I don't care. It's going to be awesome having more players, but ultimately, it's not on me to say yes, no. But my concern. Sorry, let me reiterate. My kind of only really concern is that if it goes to PlayStation, that's really cool, but we've kind of been sat here in the dark for a year, and if new content does drop for the game, but it drops on the day of the PlayStation launch, it would kind of be very. It would be very insulting to the current fans on Xbox and PC, because it's oh, are we not good enough, Bethesda? Now, some people are speculating that could be the case. I'm really holding out hope, because I feel obviously, when it comes to PlayStation stuff, PlayStation players have a lot to do. So giving them extra stuff to do, it's not really, I don't know. It just, yeah, I feel like you should always kind of consider the fans you have currently and kind of keep them content. That was always my kind of hope for Bethesda moving forward, kind of stirring up Starfield, making it kind of more, basically making it the best it could be, and kind of drawing more players would be launch a free update comes out, everyone's excited, then we get the PlayStation launch comes out, more players jump in, then after the PlayStation launch we get the expansion launch, and then after the more people come in, and then after the expansion launch, essentially we would get a roadmap from Bethesda just to kind of know what's going on, and anyway, yeah, so hopefully we get some news Tuesday. But anyway, let's talk about Terran Armada and what it could be. So in the trailer, we see the term, I say call the trailer, in the teaser, Terran Armada, that's what we're assuming it is. So for anyone familiar, Terran usually it's kind of a sci-fi term that refers to Earth. A lot of different sci-fis will kind of use it. I think of what example. I think Star Trek has has a group called the Terrans, I believe. But yeah, generally speaking, it refers to Earth. Armada is a large group of ships. Generally, Armada refers to a war fleet, like the Spanish Armada, or the there's the British Armada a few times. But yeah, generally Armada, it's an older term that we in World War II, when or World War One and World War II, when kind of we seen fleets and stuff. The term was kind of it wasn't used very much, and that might be because armadas in in the Age of Sail, you could have hundreds of ships, whereas in World War One and World War II, I mean, fleets were kind of big, but they weren't. I mean, there was some big fleets, you had the. Yeah, but anyway, long story. Yeah, so that's the two. So it basically is some sort of armada that has a war fleet tied to Earth, okay? And it doesn't necessarily, actually, I suppose it doesn't necessarily mean a war fleet, but generally, when you think of Armada, you're you're thinking of. So what does that mean? So it's tied to Earth. Now, we know that there is reference to the Terran, as in there's the quest line, the Terran Preservation Society from the Crimson Fleet, in which basically it's just a group of rich people that are like trying to get money together to preserve Earth. Now, I don't think there's going to be any correlation between them and the Terran Armada. I think it's just a kind of a coincidence, their terminology. It could be. But my assumption here is that, and this is kind of, again, this is all speculation. My assumption is that potentially a colony ship might have left Earth. See, we don't know with Earth, right? We know a few things like whoops, I just dropped my controller. 1 second. Fixed it. So my assumption is potentially a fleet left, or a colony ship left Earth prior to the collapse. It's not called the collapse, but prior to Earth basically going out the shitter. And maybe this group, they've found a planet, and the planet might have had some sort of technology that gave them it kind of boosted their technological prowess, potentially. And they were able to make ships like fucking crazy. And they have decided after, so many years of them like leaving, and they decided to come back to reclaim Earth because that is their birthright. And when they get here, they're going to realize, oh shit, we killed Earth, whoopsie. Now, again, we don't know the time frame of like when specific colony ships left Earth. Like, we know so we know of the ship above Paradiso, the unidentified ship that ends up being the Constance. So yeah, that left Earth in 2140 before the advent of grav drive, okay? So we do know, like, so it was in the early 2100s, Rupert Brackenbridge deduced the Earth will soon face extinction level event and will become uninhabitable, right? So that's known. So my kind of, again, this whole theory, what I'm thinking is that, and again, we don't know, but potentially a colony ship left long before there was any news of Earth dying, okay? So they're kind of after, going off to some other arm of the galaxy, for whatever reason, decided, you know what, we want to come home, and they come home, and they arrive home, and Earth's not there. Now, this is, again, if this ship left before the advent of grav drive technology, they could very well have reached their destination, because we know that in the Paradiso one, they reached their destination and stuff. They kind of reach it a bit late. But the idea of, I mean, it would be quite cool, again, what I was thinking, I think, when I say what I was thinking, I know a lot of the time it's just like general consensus, but imagine the idea of like a massive fleet of vessels just appear on the outskirts of the Sol system, radio silent, just sitting and waiting. And like the Freestar, the UC, hell, even House Faroon are like, what's going on here? Who the hell are these? Like, these ships outnumber like the settled system vessels by a large margin. Now, again, we don't know. Some people have speculated that like maybe people lived underground in Earth. It could be like a situation like in it could be a Fallout level situation again, where in Fallout the Enclave, who were the former government of America, they decided they initially wanted to go to the moon, and basically, and that didn't end up working out, so they went an oil rig. So it could be like, it could be a situation of that, like a kind of some sort of government group. Now, the fact that it's called the Terran Armada makes me think that it might be, potentially they could be an enemy faction. We're not really sure. Now, that being said, that's just speculation. Like, the Terran Armada could actually be like it could be like an expansion where like aliens appear, and like we as humans have to come together. The Freestar Collective, the Crimson Fleet, House Faroon, you know, the UC, even the spacers and like the ecliptics have to come together and build a fleet to defend Earth from whatever's coming. Now, this is everything is, nothing's off the table currently, you know? Ship parts are sitting firmly on the table because the fact that it says Armada, I'm expecting ship parts with it. So yeah, so we don't, again, you could kind of like nothing's off the table. Another kind of theory some people have made is that a group of humans from an alternate reality appear. Something, you know, that's always something in sci-fi. Sometimes they kind of talk about where, you know, like fleet of ships or a ship is kind of flying through space, hits some sort of weird storm, ends up in a different dimension. Again, very possible. But yeah, that's in terms of that's. I mean, we could sit here and we could speculate all day, but ultimately we're just gonna have to wait and see, and that's kind of the going these days is just wait and see, Crimson. Wait and see, everybody. But yeah, so we'll have to see what happens. Hopefully, we will get some information Tuesday. There was no mods released last Tuesday because it was a bank holiday or like a work holiday in America. So hopefully we get something. Again, we don't know what it is. The fact that I think it's probably going to be a DLC, maybe an expansion. I'm assuming that this is going to be tied to space-related stuff, like the what Tim said about like overhauling the ship travel system. I'm assuming this is going to encompass it. Now we're going to move on to the modding side of talk, and we're going to stay on the Terran Armada for a minute. So some people have kind of been speculating and wondering, like, well, what if Terran Armada is Bethesda's kind of attempt to kind of do Watchtower or Fleet Commander? Like, how is that going to work out? You know, like, and to be honest, I have probably a bit of a nuanced take on it. Because obviously my channel heavily features modding, because, you know, modding is a part of Starfield, especially when we have no actual content Bethesda. We have to rely on modders to, you know, keep us entertained. And I think obviously Fleet Commander, awesome mod, Watchtower, awesome mod. But I have always been of the idea that Bethesda should never not do something because a mod author did it first, or, you know, and I know there's some people in the community that are like, no, Bethesda shouldn't touch this, let modders do this. I don't believe in that. I think modders awesome, you know, they can add to it, but modding is always going to be the cherry on top, in my opinion. Like the cake in question should be 100% baked by Bethesda, not store-bought Bethesda. You know what I'm talking about. I don't even know what I'm talking about there, to be honest with you. It will be interesting seeing, because Terran Armada, it's obviously going to be ship related. If they are implementing the kind of the speculation is that we're going to probably get M-class ships, carriers potentially, that we can, or M-class ships that we can modify for our own thingies, and having like a kind of a mothership and carriers essentially, and carry our smaller vessels, which would be very cool. Now, Watchtower obviously did, and Fleet Commander did the whole kind of system of having multiple ships. Now, if Bethesda was to go that route and add a kind of a fleet, or like a kind of a fleet system, and they kind of overhauled it to be more, like what's going to happen with Fleet Commander and Watchtower? And to be honest, I would like to think that both Watchtower and Fleet Commander, hopefully we'll be able to kind of, you know, the mod author, the mod authors for each will be able to kind of patch them and make them function with whatever Bethesda's got cooking up. Now, that being said, if it does like turn out that, let's say, Bethesda has like a complete fleet system overhaul and stuff, and let's say it makes Watchtower redundant, like I don't think it will, to be honest. I don't think it's going to make a mod redundant, because like modding, especially paid modding, is something that, even though Bethesda don't really have any control, or even though Bethesda, like, they're not directly involved with these mods being made, like they do publish them and do the QA, but for the most part they're independent. But regardless of that, I think that Bethesda would, you know, that's kind of part of Bethesda's bread and butter. Like, they're making money off it, so it would be it wouldn't be advantageous of them to go and kind of make specific mods obsolete. That being said, I think that the stark reality that I'm hoping for is, again, that I think that Bethesda should do what needs to be done with their game. If they have ideas, they should just go with it. If one of their ideas kind of like is very similar to what a mod author is doing or stuff, it would be cool that if they could like compensate the mod author as a kind of a, like, you know, you did a good job, well done. But obviously that's here nor there, we won't know. But yeah, that's pretty much it regarding the kind of the modding section, and I don't think there's anything too much else to add. We'll have to kind of just wait and see what happens Tuesday. There's going to be probably Chock-a-Block mods coming out Tuesday, so we'll have to see what comes out and whether or not it's you know what it is, I suppose. Hopefully we get some information. Yeah. Let me know what you guys think. What are you guys thinking when you like hear the term Terran Armada? Like, are you excited? What's your speculation on what do you think it is? I will say the idea of like making a massive fleet to take on or defend humanity is pretty badass. Like, we go to war with the Starborn, like, yeah, fuck you, Starborn. We're going to war. What is it good for? Anyway, sorry. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. As always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.